Okay, the second lesson is talking about arc length of sectors. Now, a sector is a portion of the circle, so like a pizza slice. And the arc length talks about this section out here. Okay, I'll make that a color so you can see. So just that little arc length, we would not want to know that. Now that arc length is a piece of the circumference. Remember, the circumference is the distance all the way around. So this is the arc length of this sector right here. So let's look at our first example. To celebrate their victory, the girls' ice hockey team goes out for pizza. The goalie eats half of a pizza that has a diameter of 20 inches. So, and whenever you solve a problem that's a word problem, always start with a picture. So we know we have a pizza, the diameter is 20 inches. So right away I'm going to make note of what the radius is. And if you remember from last time, we know that the radius is half the diameter. So the radius is 10. What is the length of the crust that she ate? So she ate half the pizza. So she ate this much crust all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a proportion. Okay? Set up proportion. And then that means we'll end up doing cross products. And you are very good at cross products. We've been doing that for a long time. So let's see. First of all, remember this is a portion of the entire circumference. So to find the arc length, I'm going to have to find circumference, which the formula is 2 pi r. So circumference is 2 pi times the radius of 10. So the circumference happens to be 20 pi. That's the whole thing. And the whole way around. And we know that our person, the goalie, she ate half of that. So you probably already know half of 20 pi is 10 pi. So how do we get that? We're going to set up that proportion of 1/2. We're going to multiply across, and we get 20 pi equals 2x. And to solve for x, divide both sides by 2, and you get x equals 10 pi. So this number, and if I want to have it exact, I leave it as 10 pi. If I want to know what that length is, so if it's inches, I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to go 10 times pi, or you can do this on Google, or what is it, Desmos. Okay, so 31.415 inches of crust. Okay. Now, we were told here that this is half, okay? And so how do we find this 1/2 typically? Because it's not always going to be half. In this case, it's 45. We're talking about an angle of 45 degrees. So this measurement right here, remember, is 180. So 180 degrees is like the rainbow. That's halfway around a circle. And so 360 is a full circle. So 180 divided by 360 reduces to 1/2, and that's why we use that number. Let's do the next example, and you'll see where I'm going with this. Okay, Sonia chooses a slice from another pizza that has a diameter of 16 inches. So I'm going to start with my little picture. The diameter is 16 inches, so right away I know that the radius is 8, because the radius is half of the diameter. Her slice has a central angle of 45 degrees. Okay, so what is the length of the crust? Well, I still need to do circumference, 2 pi r, and I'm going to get 2 pi times 8, or 16 pi, because it's also like pi times diameter. So I'm really kind of doing more work. So how you set this up is always going to be what we're looking for over the circumference is going to be equal to the degrees over 360. So x over the circumference is 16 pi. The degrees we were given is 45 over 360. If you can reduce that 45 over 360, that's fine. Otherwise, just go ahead and go 45 times 16 equals 360 times x. But I can divide this by 45, divide this by 45, and I get x over 16 pi equals 1 over 8. 45 divided by 45 is 1. 360 divided by 45 is 8. So I'm going to get 16 pi when I do my cross products equals 8x. Divide both sides by 8. X equals 2 pi. 16 divided by 8 is 2. So Sonia had her little length of her crust was 2 pi, or 2 times 3.14, a little bit over 6 inches. 6 inches of crust. Okay? So what is our formula we're going to be using? It's going to be, usually it's going to be the arc over 2 pi r equals the degrees over 360. And that's just how you're going to set it up. Okay? 2 pi r represents the circumference, because remember, our arc, our little section that we're looking for, is part of the circumference, and it's just a fraction of it. That's why you set up a fraction. As the evening draws to a close, Sonia noticed that there is only one slice of the goalie's pizza remaining. She estimates that the central angle is 72 degrees. Using the estimate, what is the length of her crust? So we're looking for the arc. We want 2 pi r, and we're going to set that over 72 over 360. Well, if I divide by 72 here, and I'm basically just reducing this, 72 goes in there. I believe it's 5 times. Let me just double check here. And we're going to go 360 divided by 72 equals, 5. You can see that it's 5 on my calculator. So we're going to get x over something equals 1/5, 2 pi. Now, this is the goalie's pizza. So I'm going to come back up here, and the goalie's radius of her pizza was 10. So I'm going to get here. I know that's 20 pi, so I'm going to multiply across this way. 20 pi equals 5 times x. Divide by 5, so we can solve for x. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So 4 pi. Or if I wanted to do 4 times 3.14, it's 12 point something, or maybe, let's see, so calculate 4 times pi equals 12.566. 5.66. But you can go ahead and leave your answer super exact by leaving it as pi. This is hard enough without having to convert stuff. On Delta Math, you might have to convert. So you have to look at that and see how are your answers supposed to be in Delta Math. Okay? Let's look at this last question on this page. A portion of a circle, like the crust of a pizza, is called an arc. Okay, I already said that. This is a set connected by a fixed distance from the center point. The arc length of the circle's circumference. If the circle has a radius of 6, what is the length of the arc with the central angle 30? So our formula, arc, is what we're looking for, over 2 pi times our radius of 6 is equal to 30 over 360. Okay, so we're going to reduce this, because life is so much easier if it becomes x over 12 pi equals 1 over 30 goes into 360 12 times. Okay, I divided here by 30, divided here by 30, goes in here 12 times. I'm going to do cross products. 12 pi equals 12x. Divide both sides by 12, and you get x equals pi, or 3.14. So we're just setting this up. This is the same formula for everything. You have to find the circumference. You know it's always going to be something over 360 degrees. That's a given. Okay. The other page has some problems for you to practice. So let's look at this one. So you're going to have to know what the radius is, find the circumference, 2 pi r, and then what is your degrees? Your degrees is 120. So when you set this up, it's going to be 120 over 360 equals whatever the circumference is, and then this is what you're looking for, this arc length right here. We're looking for this distance. I want you guys to practice on your own. Again, I will have the correct answers at the end of the video. Okay, so there are 4 problems here to practice with the same format. I'll write the formula at the top. It's going to be arc divided by circumference, or equals your degrees over 360. Okay, this right here is 2 pi r. All right, so you're going to do that and then do cross products. The last question at the bottom, this is you're going to have to kind of remember how many degrees are in a triangle and how many degrees are in a quadrilateral. You can look that up, but basically you're going to add all these up and set it equal to its degrees. These last 2 questions are review. They are not from today's notes. All right, I will see you on Zoom.